Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. We're on Connor Talks Games. And for this week in particular, I wanted to think of something that would be a little fun. But I have been getting a couple requests in the old email to kind of discuss and talk about this a little bit. Now, I would like to have a disclaimer. I usually like to just focus on the kind of cool things that are happening, or just typically speaking, things that I thought were really neat in regards to video games or video game adjacent things. But it would appear as though my parts of my audience, at least, have been requesting, can I talk about the collective shout situation going on with Steam? So, a bit of context, real quick, for those who don't have any idea. Steam has kind of unfortunately had to deal with a situation in which payment processors like Visa and MasterCard have pretty much threatened to pull support if Steam does not remove a series of erotic and sexual games from their store. And a lot of these are like it's slop, like NSFW, incest, rape, taboo stuff, just all of that. Itch.io as well has been affected by it. But it's something that it really sucks about this, and particularly why it's been so bad, is, you're removing my ability to play certain games. Now, it's not the fact that we're upset that these games are removed, it's the fact that you're telling millions of gamers what they can and cannot play. A group that saw the games on these stores and they went, no, I don't like it, so you can't play it. And then they had, and once again, the streak of companies who are literally richer than God who knows what, and they just bend the knee because they get sent 1,000 emails. And now, as a result of that, there have been thousands of emails, calls, the whole 9 yards at Visa and MasterCard, pretty much demanding, what the hell are you doing? You can't just take games that were completely fine on the site and say that they don't like them because of that. Now, we did get a response. It's so goofy. They go, well, you see, we did it, but it wasn't for a moral reason. Yeah. That's sounding pretty illegal, if you ask me, dictating what I can and cannot buy, because it's a private transaction. It's not like anyone's going to see me in my 8 Sakura Succubus games. God, please don't have that go out on the public record. Too late, I guess, but that's already out there. Now that little piece of information has kind of been brought out, a little bit of background on Collective Shout. This is the same company that was protesting against Detroit Become Human, and at the same time, the same group that defended Cuties, the Netflix special. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy, but the mathin' ain't mathin' here, boss. Mathin' ain't mathin'. And it is based out in Australia, so my poor Australian friend is probably still going to be dealing with that, but oh well. It is what it is. But I think this is just a small part of what a bigger issue is, and it's external influences trying to get into an industry they know nothing about. Now, look, I have always taken the same stance with anything when it comes to outside sources in games. If they are curious about something and they want to learn about it, then yeah, I'll sit down and we could talk about it. I mean, I like to think I'm fairly knowledgeable on at least a couple of things happening in the industry. But it's when individuals like, this current story with Collective Shout just don't like it and immediately attack and go after it without, any freaking conversation about it. It's like, why? And I mean, double shame on Visa and MasterCard for just bending the knee like that as well. They had, again, I don't understand. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. How is that going to hurt you so much? But whatever. I'm never a fan of when somebody tells me what I can and cannot develop, what I can and cannot play, and most certainly what I can and cannot say in my games. Now, political messages, ideologies, and many things in games, I think, have always been at the forefront of very like hit or miss. There are games that have really good themings or certain things. Like again, Detroit Become Human. That's an excellent game that I think explores a lot of adult themes and very difficult to swallow pills in regards to certain things, and it's a really fun experience. I highly recommend you play it if you haven't. It's an excellent game. But then you have games like Duskborn, which they're very clearly a very crappy, over centralized, and quite frankly, just not even well written game. Like, if we ignore all the political stuff about it for 2 seconds, the gameplay is boring, the story looks like crap, the main characters are bland and 2D. There's nothing about it that really is great, and the fact that taxpayer dollars went into it is another statement. Man, poor people who paid for that. My condolences. Yeah, you know what? Let's keep going on this topic. So, how does one write how does one develop a game that uses political themes but doesn't have it be like the only thing the game offers, or like doing it in a good way? Well, for starters, I think the best way to do that, quite frankly, is to make it just be a product of the world and don't let it be the character's main personality. You can have a world where slavery is very prevalent. You can have a world where it's heavily based off of a dictatorship, or you can have a world where certain groups are subjugated and it's just completely awful. But I mean, if it's a part of the culture or the empire or something else, then it feels all the more enriching, I feel personally, than when it's just like, oh, woe be me or something. I mean, it's a very fun time to have these types of things when it just works in the story. I'm not really great at explaining this personally. I always prefer to let my work speak for itself, but just, I guess the thing grasp here is, don't let it be a character's personality. Let it be a part of them, but let them have, like, something else to go with it. Like, make me care about their backstory. Make me care about this thing. Write a villain who is, like, a dictator, but give me a reason. Like, explain why he enslaves people. Explain why he sends millions to their deaths. Explain to me why I should care about a guy who does these things. And if I don't care about him, alright, it's not for everybody, but what if I care more about the main character? Well, obviously, that doubly so. What if they're a freedom fighter? What if they're a villain? What if they're just a person who really likes grilled cheeses and they don't want to have lettuce on their grilled cheese, so they're fighting the lettuce regime or something? Just, you can have stupid ideas in a game that could speak to something on a deeper level, but it's how you execute that is very difficult. If you are a game writer and you're listening to this, I'd actually would like to encourage you to try to write a very brief story on some dark topic and just kind of see how that would play into it. Now, I don't think this has to be overly deep. If anything, it could be quite simple, but I think it's just a good learning experience to try to do something that's what many could find to be disagreeable with or even distasteful in some cases. But, what are you gonna do? We live in a society, and unfortunately that is what it is. So now we're gonna move away from that. I don't think there's much else I could say about it. I don't even really feel 100% qualified to talk on it because, I'm just a dude who makes video games. It's not like I got much else to talk about with it. But I think, let's talk a little bit about possibly fun upcoming games. So, actually, let me pull it up here real quick. I was browsing through my Steam, and I recall I have Signalis, which, if you've never played that, it's an excellent horror shooter, kind of like classic Resident Evil games. Very retro, very old PlayStation graphics emulation, but the story is awesome, and it's got some really great themes. Also developed by only 2 people. Probably more if we count the audio company, but it's just such an awesome game. There's this game called, what is it? I believe it's Yokai. Is it this? Hold on. Just need to make sure I see it here. No, it's not that. Oh my god. I think it's yokai operator. You're this is absolutely beautiful. I am sitting here while I try to remember that. Does anybody recall the funny nightmare operator? That's the damn name of the game. All right, there we go. We got the game. Woo! We got the game. I'm looking at the Steam page right now. Similar to Helldivers. Very goofy. Very goofy. But yeah, no. This game reminds me of, I guess, a little bit of Dead Space, and combine that with Signalis. So very very interesting. I recommend wishlisting it if you are interested in checking it out. I don't know when it's coming out yet, but boy, oh boy, I am excited for it. What else? What else? Nah, I mean, honestly, I guess if we're looking through the library here, we might as well go down and just kind of talk about a couple of fun games. All right, Blueprints. This really wonky puzzle game in which you play a guy who gets a letter from their relative about a mansion that they need to find a secret room in. And then once you find the room, obviously you get to keep the mansion, but it's a puzzle game that is like a roguelike. So the way the game works is you have a map full of grids, and for each grid you can have a room get selected and spawn on it. So you need to map out rooms that could give you bonuses or negatives, and you need to try to get to the end. And there are puzzles and stuff, and you gotta go around doing that, but I've had a couple occasions where I'm about to get to the end, but I forgot to pick a room that has a key, or vice versa. And it don't go well. It don't go well at all. And I end up getting shot listed. But, it's a fun game. Also, Blueprints. You see what they did there? You see what they did there? Anyone? No, it's just me? Alright, come here. Anyhow, I also did a bit of Night Rain with Caligo. She, oh my god, Night Rain, Caligo. Alright, I'd like to speak a little bit on the Night Rain stuff, but, Augur and Caligo, you know, as far as Everdark Sovereigns are concerned, I mean, I like Adele and Fulgur more. I feel like those were more of the Everdark experience, you know. They had a lot of massive changes. There was an insane amount of new variety that they did. Please don't hurt me, by the way. This is merely coming out of my ass. I mean, Fulgur getting his hand, or Adele doing the teleportation and becoming like a rustler. I mean, Caligo, it's like, visually speaking, they get a little darker blue. Their ice attack kind of happens. They have that new one where they shoot an ice shard on the ground and it explodes, and it's like a whirlwind that expands outwards. And they also get a new tail swipe that splits into the triple projectile, and it also has the after explosion. But they also get like the ice armor and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it's not as much as I thought it would be for an Everdark Sovereign. But I mean, the theme still slaps, and there was something to show for it with the thing. Augur, though, and Augur, I know there were a lot of people who were disappointed with Augur, particularly because of how gimmicky it was on the third phase. Visually speaking, I like the way they look in their Everdark form. It's more like true to their lore, which is them just like being a drifting celestial phenomenon that interacted with the night. But what I didn't really like too much was you get a weapon that pretty much turns it into, alright, can I, hold the button and then just kind of hit them, and then that's about it. Now, I know there were a lot of older Souls fans that were excited that Stormcaller got returned to me, but I mean, again, like I said last time, I only really played Dark Souls 3, and I only got about 10 hours of that, and I beat Elden Ring, so the only thing I know is that people like it. People like it a lot. But while it may be a gimmick fight, I didn't think it was awful. I mean, can't have everyone be a singer. But Libra, they are coming on the 14th, and I'm scared. Oh boy, Libra, they are... Oh... Man, if freaking Insanity was anything to go off of, that boss was something. I mean, here, let's read the description on the Steam page. None may bear the balance, but at cost. When the Horned Beast rises, chaos claims all. I mean, yeah. Let's get an L in the chat for all my homies who unfortunately could not get a madness weapon or a madness effect. Even then, it just activates and moves them into the phase a bit more. But whatever, it be what it be. But yeah, it's spoopy. I tell you what, it's scary. There is quite a few of them, and we'll just have to see how it goes. I'm excited for Tricephalus though. Their Everdark form, I hope, will be quite something. I'm hoping it's nice, but I will not know until we get to it. On top of that, however, there is a I think it's the Depths game mode that got leaked with the ranked and whatnot. All the people that can go down and kind of do stuff and run around. So I'm kind of curious to see how that'll turn out. I'm not good at the game, but if they got new skins, then I might as well get good, and we'll see what happens. No, just me. All right. Well, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I am not adverse or not against that. But I think I'm droning on now, and I would like to talk a little bit about the funny called What Questions Did We Get This Week? And I gotta say, we got some fun ones. We got some fun ones. So let's start out with the first one. What is your favorite upcoming character in Honkai Star Rail and ZZZ? Well, let's see. Let me actually pull up the banner here right now. I think it's Hyselines is the current upcoming character, and I gotta look at her kit, and I gotta say, you know, the ability to just say proc, 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 all my homies are procking, yeah, that tends to do it to a person, I tell you what. And that is scary to a T. But I don't really care too much about Hyselines. She's alright. I'm not super into that. There's Serdra? I think I said that right. Probably not. She looks like a character from Genshin Impact. I don't know what her kit is, but not really super crazy on her either. Evernight? That's the Remembrance, the Evil March 7th. She's coming out in September, I believe. Maybe. Possibly. And then we also have, funny Don Hung Preservation, who's also coming out. So we'll see what happens with him. Now, as far as all that is concerned, I'm actually more excited for, what's their face, the Silverwolf rerun. Because ever since she got reworked, I'm very excited to get my hands on her. I don't have her or Blade. I want Blade because Blade is like, ever since the buffs happened, you know, solid tank, good for aggro. Guy does great damage on the follow-up, plus energy regen, so I'll have to keep my eyes peeled for that. Favorite voice actor? Oh, jeez. Alright. Well, I know Christina V, she voiced Noelle Vermillion in BlazBlue, and BlazBlue is probably one of my favorite fighting games. So there's that, but if we were talking kind of like all over the place, there we go. Amanda Lee. Now, you may be inquiring, why do you like Amanda Lee? And I will say, well, aside from the fact that they're a freaking gremlin and they absolutely terrify me in some areas, I am a very big fan of Jing Liu. She's one of my favorite Star Rail characters. And All Will Be Revealed in Lunar Flame does go kind of hard when I am trying to get Jing Liu to crit, and she doesn't want to crit, so I cry myself to sleep. But, nah, I just, I like her music tracks, I like her voice work in Star Rail. She probably does more than that, but quite frankly, I'm drinking a Baja Blast and I can't be bothered to double check. Please don't stab me if you're listening to this, by the way. I'm merely speaking on 2 hours of sleep, I think, after recording this. But yeah, I'd say Amanda Lee is probably my favorite voice actor. I really like her work. What game do you keep going back to no matter how old it is? I probably said this in the past, but Halo 3. I always, at some point down the line, every year, I like to just sit down, boot it up on my Xbox, and I just play it through. Don't matter the difficulty, don't matter the skulls or any of that. I just like to turn my brain off and just dedicate a whole day to playing through the campaign. And I'd say that's pretty fun. If I could live in any game world for a week, which one would it be? I could jokingly say Warhammer, but that wouldn't work. Halo's out of the question, too. Man, why you gotta ask me, this person who sent this? All my games I play have really bad worlds. You know what? For crafts and giggles, put me in Rapture, but like before the new year and before all the crazy stuff with the Civil War happens. I just want to see what unchecked capitalism and insane levels of private property can do for a person. Like, you're telling me I can splice my DNA, get the ability to shoot Hortons out of my ass? Yeah. Yeah, sign me up. As long as there's no big daddies that are gonna touch me because I decided to get Adam from a little sister. God, I love explaining this game's lore. Are games getting too easy? Oh. I mean, depends on what game you play. I'll tell you what, Souls games certainly aren't getting any easier. There are probably a couple of hardcore games out there. I mean, we could probably have a discussion about, like, how open-world Western games are giving you 8,000 different markers to go to places, and how JRPGs do some certain things, but I think it just depends on the person. I typically don't like to think I struggle too badly on games if they weren't expressly built with insane difficulty in mind, but to each their own. Can a game be considered perfect? That is, in the eyes of the beholder, it completely depends on the person. For me, I only have one game that I gave a 10 out of 10 on Steam. And that is Ender Lily's Quietus of the Night. And the only reason why that game got a 10 out of 10 is because I love Metroidvanias. I love the world. And my favorite, like one of my favorite all-time bands, Melee, did the music on that game. And as we've established, I am a fat Melee fan. I love Melee. They're great. RT go Burr. But, you know, it's fun. It is what it is. Anyhow, what is a good game to listen to some tunes to? Honestly, any game I feel like that has like really aggressive combat. So it takes Space Marine 2, right? 1 second, I'm playing that, and the next second I'm listening to Rubber Human by Melee, or I'm listening to Pandora Tears from Blaze Blue, or I'm listening to Emotion Engine by Daz GXD, which are all very good songs. Highly recommend you check them out if you get the chance. And this is a fun one, Bad Apple, because chainswords don't discriminate. But anyhow, thank you all for who sent in good old-fashioned questions for the show for this week. I always try to get to the ones that I find to be the most interesting, so if your question wasn't answered this week, I'll see about maybe getting it onto the next one. But I thank you. Thank you all once again. This is Connor Talks Games, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Or not. Or something. Yeah. Alright. Bye-bye.